In London's fair city, there stands a grand place, a palace so regal with style and grace. Its walls hold history, its halls tell of might, and all who have entered have left in delight. But what lies within, beyond its gates? A fortune untold, a mystery that awaits. From crown jewels to gardens, it's a sight to behold. And in today's episode, dear viewers, its secrets will unfold. That's some intro, huh? Yeah, we've been working on it since late last night. Introducing the oh-so-famous $5 billion Buckingham Palace. When the air is rich, the curtains are velvet, and the carpets are plush enough to make your feet feel like royalty. This place is ridiculously lavish and expensive. You'll need to take out a small loan just to breathe the same air as the royals. Get ready to be immersed in a world of pure luxury and aesthetic pleasure. Let's dive deep. But first, let's take a little history lesson. It's common knowledge of royal history that Buckingham Palace has been standing tall since the early 1700s. Initially, it didn't go by its regal moniker and had a different owner altogether, King James I. Fast forward a few decades later and the palace changed hands, falling under the possession of the Duke of Buckingham, who eventually sold it to George III in 1762. George had the brilliant idea of gifting the palace to his beloved Queen Charlotte as a cozy getaway for their family. You know, some much-needed R&R away from the stuffy St. James Palace, where all the bureaucratic hoopla went down. Not long after, Queen Victoria ascended the throne and made it clear that the palace was more cramped than a clown car. She lamented the lack of space for her growing family and wasn't able to entertain guests comfortably. So she ordered a massive renovation, resulting in the famous balconies construction. Thanks to her, the royals have a new pastime, waving from an elevated platform, like they're rock stars at a concert. It's a ceremony fit for a king or queen, or even a duke or duchess who just wants to get a little closer to their adoring public, without the risk of being tackled by crazy fans. And whatever you do, don't forget to wave with a smile, because that's what true royalty does. And just as the penguin in Madagascar said, just smile and wave, boys, just smile and wave. But in a more graceful manner, of course. Now, let's leap forward to the reign of King Charles III. Buckingham Palace has undergone a transformation and now boasts a modern and opulent look, oozing with a billion-dollar aura. It's a hotspot for tourists who flock to its gates in masses, eager to soak in the grandeur and pay a pretty penny for the privilege. So let's take a closer look at some of the astonishing features of this magnificent palace that never fails to leave visitors awestruck. When you arrive at the palace's entrance, expect to see a swarm of people, from wide-eyed tourists to curious locals, all excited to bask in the royal limelight. The front of Buckingham Palace shows off an impressive 830,000 square feet of floor space, making it one of the largest palaces around. And if that's not impressive enough, the delicate Queen Victoria Memorial will take your breath away. Trust us, if you haven't seen it yet, you're missing out on one of the most awe-inspiring sights your eyes will ever witness. The first thing you'll notice is the monument's towering height, clocking it at 25 meters. It's made from Pentelic marble, one of the priciest marbles on the market, weighing a hefty 2,300 tons. That's more than enough marble to make Michelangelo become a total fanboy. But the extravagance doesn't end there. The monument also includes other statues that complement it and represent qualities such as courage, charity, motherhood, and truth. As you continue your tour through the Queen Victoria Memorial, you'll stumble upon the Australia, Canada, South, and West Africa gates. Together, they're known as the Dominion Gates, which sounds like something straight out of Game of Thrones. Needless to say, Buckingham Palace's entrance is a feast for the eyes, and a smorgasbord of marble. Just don't try to take any home with you. And if you thought the grand entrance had everything imaginable, wait until you set your eyes on the Memorial Gardens. It's like a green oasis amidst all the marble madness. The perfect spot to stop and smell the roses before continuing your royal adventure. The Memorial Gardens are a sight for sore eyes with beautifully crafted flower beds arranged in a semicircular design around the memorial. It takes 22,500 plants to fill up these beds during the summer, and an even more impressive 50,000 during the winter. Let's give a special shout out to Sir Aston Webb, who designed this stunning structure fit for total royalty. He clearly knew that a palace like Buckingham deserved nothing less than the best flower beds money could buy. With so many plants around, it's like a giant game of Where's Waldo? Only instead of Waldo, you're searching for the perfect bloom. And if there's anything you need to know about the British monarchy, it's that these folks don't settle for anything less than the best of the best. And the palace's interior proves just that. The interior is so grand and opulent that even the fanciest hotels would be envious of it. But let's be real, it's not just the interiors that make the British monarchy powerful. I mean, have you seen the Queen's wave? That's some serious royal authority right there. Moving on to the rooms. Did you know that the Buckingham Palace has 775 rooms? Yep, 775 rooms. But don't worry, they're not all fancy schmancy staterooms and principal bedrooms. There are also 188 staff bedrooms, 92 offices, because even royals need to file paperwork, and a shocking 78 bathrooms. And before you ask, no, we don't know if all of those bathrooms are in use. But hey, it is a palace, so you wouldn't be surprised if they have a bathroom just for the Queen's corgis. As soon as you step into Buckingham Palace, you'll be greeted by the grand staircase. And we're not talking about your average staircase here. This one is truly state-of-the-art. Covered in plush red carpet and adorned with balusters made of gilded bronze, it's literally eye candy. And the price tag? It was worth a whopping £3,900 when Samuel Parker delivered this masterpiece in the late 1820s. Oh, and be sure to look up, because above the stairs is a gold and white scheme, courtesy of King Edward VII. It's like walking into a wedding cake, but with more stairs and less frosting. And there's a dome directly above that allows natural light to seep through, giving the area a magical look. And we're not referring to just any old dome. This one is made from 40 panes of glass, each one engraved with angelic figures. It's like heaven on earth, but with less clouds and more royal guards. And of course, the portraits. Because who doesn't love staring at giant paintings of people who lived centuries ago while climbing up a grand staircase? Queen Victoria had portraits of her family members hung up all over the place, giving the palace a cozy, homey feel. You'll see portraits of George III, Queen Charlotte, the Duke and Duchess of Kent, and even Victoria's favorite uncle, William IV, and his bride, Queen Adelaide. And just when you thought it couldn't get any fancier, the throne room awaits. This is where the elite come to meet, greet, and lavishly compete. This room screams elegance, importance, and high status. Seeing some of the biggest names in history during grand balls, investitures, family celebrations, and private parties. It's like the VIP room of VIP rooms. And the centerpiece of the throne room, the chairs of the estate. These two bad boys are like the Iron Throne, but instead of sitting on metal, you get cushy seats. Queen Elizabeth II even used one of these chairs during her coronation ceremony in 1953, not forgetting the embroidery, EIIR. The dramatic design of the canopy and arch over the thrones was created by the famous architect John Nash, who apparently knew a thing or two about theater set designs. But the throne room isn't just about chairs and embroidery. It's also got some serious mantle game. There's a mantelpiece with a big old mirror and a French clock from the 18th century. And check out the bronze figures of the three Haradi brothers collecting swords from a man. Captivating? We know. Next up is the white drawing room. This isn't your run-of-the-mill drawing room. It's like a drawing room on steroids, with all the elegant glory that you can handle. Seriously, if you're not in awe by the end of your visit here, you might want to check your pulse. This room is the perfect place to show off your art knowledge and impress your friends. Or at least pretend like you know what you're talking about. And the artifacts? They'll take your breath away. Take, for example, the grand piano. Queen Victoria and Prince Albert were all about that musical life, so they made sure to have a piano installed in every single one of their residences. Because, hey, what's a palace without a fancy piano, right? But of course, this wasn't just your standard piano. No. Queen Victoria had to have it decked with all kinds of fancy scenery and decorations. Because why have a regular old piano when you can have a work of art that you can also play music on? It's like having your own personal art exhibit right in your living room. And another showstopper in this room that's worth your attention, a painting fit for a queen. It's a Buckingham Palace masterpiece that's so sensational, it'll make you want to kneel upon it. And who's the subject of this exquisite portrait, you ask? None other than the gorgeous Queen Alexandra herself. The painting was done by Francois Flameng. Plus, with the candelabras beside it, the whole thing looks super divine. Now let's talk about art. You see, the British monarchy is no stranger to the finer things in life, especially when it comes to artwork. They've got pieces from all over the world like Africa and Rome, which just goes to show that being royal doesn't mean you can't appreciate a good international flair. Quick question, have you been to the Queen's Gallery? It's a marvel, you guys. They've got works by some of the greatest artistic minds in history, like Leonardo da Vinci, and they rotate pieces from the royal collection, so there's always something new to see. And let us tell you, the royal collection is like a treasure trove of precious objects. Paintings, furniture, paperwork, you name it, they've got it. In fact, the Buckingham Palace Gallery alone displays an average of 450 artworks from the royal collection, making it a haven for art lovers. There's no shortage of art to admire here. Finally, we've reached the palace's crowning achievement, the Belgian Suite. This exclusive suite is reserved for only the creme de la creme of visitors to the crown. The Belgian Suite is where the monarch hosts high-status individuals who are lucky enough to get an invite. This luxurious suite is fit for royalty, with facilities that are sure to make even the most discerning of kings and queens feel right at home. You'll find it on the ground floor of the garden wing, facing north. Trust us, you don't want to miss out on experiencing the grandeur of the Belgian Suite. It's kind of like stepping into a fairy tale. If the fairy tale had 24-hour room service and a private butler, that is. And if you're fortunate enough to snag one, prepare to feel like royalty. You won't be taking an Uber to this joint, no indeed. You'll be chauffeured in a fancy carriage like the VIP that you are. Once you step inside of it, be prepared to be blown away by these splendid decor. The rooms are decked out with only the finest materials, so don't even think about trying to smuggle out some fancy linen napkins in your purse. The royal family knows how to treat their guests, and that's why they occasionally host some of the more notable and esteemed personalities of the international crowd. The Belgian Suite is strictly for the glitterati, and if there's one thing we've learned is that the royal family knows how to live it up. From posh furniture to fancy carriages, they spare no expense when it comes to impressing their guest. And if you happen to get an invite to the iconic Buckingham Palace, just remember to dress to impress. Practice your curtsy or bow, and try not to spill your tea on the priceless antique furniture, or else you might find yourself on the next royal blacklist. We wouldn't want that to happen. Thanks for spending some time with us today, and until next time, keep calm and carry on.